good morning, YouTube viewers. Good morning, Facebook Nation. Good morning to all people, all races, all colors, all around the world. Good morning. Rainy day, but every day is beautiful. Remember that. Before we start, click like, subscribe. We're in the middle of a four-part series entitled What Holds Us Back from Wealth, Happiness, and Success. And in parentheses, fear. Fear is the common theme that is going to run through every topic that we speak as part of the four-part series. Fear will be involved in each one. Okay, so today's topic we discuss happiness and exactly what holds us back from happiness. Also, information in which we may not be aware of. So you know how we do here. You know what's next. In order to understand something, to understand how it works, you have to know exactly what it is. And the definition of happiness is the state of being happy or feeling or showing pleasure or contentment. So that's the definition. So the reason we do definitions on this channel is to bring awareness to all the viewers out there that we take words that mean one thing, and when we throw opinion and we throw chance and happenstance on those words are no longer, they're irrelevant. So when a situation arises that it's a case in point where a relationship that has been for a long time, and the person says to the other person, well, I did everything to make you happy. This is what this topic is all about, because if you yourself are not happy, then how can you make someone else happy? Happiness should begin with you, and that's what this discussion is on today: how to find that happiness within you, but also to understand the fear that goes along with stopping us, holding us back from living our happiest life. So we all say, we all made the comment that life is okay. However, things could be better. That it would make us all happy, if things were a little bit better. So it's something that we can all relate to, something we all may have said. So the reason many of us that are not content, or we are just tolerable to the situation in which one might find themselves, is fear. So sometimes, we can be we're in a situation where, on the outside it looks like, hey, everything is happy, but, inside we're just going along with the situation. We may not be happy. So therefore, we're content with the situation. This is happiness, but it's not true happiness. Remember, it's a feeling of happiness. So in order to understand how fear applies in this context of happiness and how it affects happiness, let us first take on the misconceptions of of what happiness is thought to be, but what in actuality happiness is, so we know what it is that we're asking for. Let us, number one, happiness is a state of mind and being. So that's what happiness is. It's a state of mind, a state of being, and internally within a person, not something we seek from outside of ourselves. It's just not. And I'm going to say these three things over with each one of the 3 points that I'm going to make. The first point is happiness is not a state of mind, and happiness is a state of mind and being. Not wealth, not significant other, not employment. So it's not the best job. And then number two, happiness is in you. Happiness is in all of us, but we're not used to tapping into that happiness. So happiness is in you. It's not wealth, it's not significant other, it's not employment. And then number three, happiness is a reflection of how you feel about yourself. So, happiness being a state of mind, if you're happy, then everything about you shows that happiness, because you're a reflection reflection of how you feel. And has nothing to do with wealth, has nothing to do with significant other, and has nothing to do with employment. It has to do with you, again, the individual. If in this regard we have all said, if I had a good job, money, significant other, then we would all be happy. When the fact is, we are so fearful of trusting and building upon the happiness, the contentment within ourselves. So, we're thinking that everything that's outside of us, again, we've gone so far away from the word of what happy is and what happiness is. It's that we're trying to make sense out of, we're going into an area that just does not make sense. So, when we look to say, if I had this, or if this were that, or if this were that, that's everything but you. Instead of, I am, or I will, or I want, or I can. It takes away. Again, it's reversing the psychology of what words actually mean. To take on a meaning that actually has no meaning. So today we're going to spin that back around and put things back in order. Like a car. You know what's wrong with the car, you know about cars, you can fix it. So let's fix us. So, a major aspect of happiness is feeling. Yet, we live in a world where feeling is a weakness. Contentment is also an aspect of happiness. Yet, we live in a world that is constantly changing with new requirements of our time and energy. And then there's pleasure. Yet we live in a time where pleasure is so momentarily fast. Think about it. Vacations, nightlife, a play, or going to an event, even relationships, even jobs, they're momentary. You get into them and you're not happy, and you're looking for the next thing to make you happy. Because we don't know the happiness within ourselves. So we're searching for something instead of starting out where we should start out, square one, us. By abandoning the happiness that is within the person, the less likely a person will have to face one's own failures in life. Fear. Fear. When you can't deal with yourself, that's a fear. So, again, fear is holding us back. And viewers, it is not that a person is or has become incapable of lasting happiness. It's not something that's impossible, and we have to stop thinking that some things were too far in life for things to take place. We felt this way when we were younger, but now that we're older, we gave up on it. But even though that situation might be here now for you to enjoy life, you're holding it where the fear is holding ourselves back. Okay, now I have it, but I don't want it. No, you're fear. You're stopping yourself from holding you back from experiencing happiness, something that you feel truly happy about. You've stopped yourself. Fear. Okay. So, what this morning motivational topic is stating is that no matter the choices we might make in our lives, the state of being happy and maintaining happiness in our lives begins and ends within you. Not what out there, not the play you're going to, not the concert you're going to, not the new handbag that you're buying, not the new car that you're buying, not the new house that you're buying, not the new guy that you met, not the new woman that you met. It's none of those things. So, it begins and ends with us. That it is impossible to find or make another person happy, or for something else to make us happy, if we have no idea of what makes us happy. So if you have no idea of yourself, it's bad situation to be in. And we can never complain, and we can never say to a person, we can never make that comment, hey, I did everything to make you happy. How? You don't even know what makes you happy. So, how? So we don't make things that just don't make sense. We don't go into la la land. Now we know ourselves. Now we know what's required of ourselves. Now let's bring out the happiness that's already there, that's within inside. So we find ourselves searching outside of ourselves instead of taking charge of our lives. Meaning that when you yourself know your needs and your wants, then what we look for outside of ourselves will fall more in line with who you are, your likes, your wants, your needs, which adds to the happy self which is within each one of us, leaving fear far behind. So it's to say that, I'm going to give you an example of that. I want this to be a little bit faster than the last video. I think I did a little too much explaining. So I'm going to let everything fall into line. So if you're stumped on something, review it, go back. That's why it's on tape. Review it and, get the meaning of this topic, because each one of these topics all ties in together, and they're all, things that make us better people, or allows us to continue to be better people, I should say. So viewers, when we leave open doors, we live life as chance, like a gamble, or a fear. And now you get the example of what I meant prior. So I'm going to make some statements, okay? The pay is great. Hopefully, the atmosphere will change. It's one statement. She or he is great. I wonder if she or he will like pets. It's number 2 statement. Number 3, my new home is great. I guess I can cut a few corners to make this work. Okay? There's nothing wrong with those statements. We've all made those statements. So what we do on this channel is we rethink and we reverse it. Now try saying it like this and see what the difference is in your life. You'll be a lot happier. So, for statement number 1, the pay is great. So now we're going to do the reverse response, and how we should allow our thinking to generate us, and how we motivate and navigate through life. Is this a good atmosphere for me? Pay is great. It's number 1. Number 2, I have pets. Do you have a problem with that? Is that going to be a problem? It's number 2. And now number 3, can I really afford this house without cutting corners? And do I really need something this size? So you see the questions that we had asked, the statements we made prior, but then the second set of statements that we made makes all the difference, because you're working within the happiness that's within you. When we take on, say, overtime, you say, well, I love my job, the pay is good and everything is good, I'm happy, but now, overtime comes in and it's taking away from, other areas of your life where, there's happiness. So you want to cut back on the overtime, but then, you don't say anything, to the company of, hey, I have a life outside of this, I don't mind doing overtime, but it's starting to cut into, certain things that I would like to continue to keep in my life, which gives balance, which allows me to come into to work with a pleasant attitude that allows me to, work to my optimal production. So there's different ways of handling happiness, and how happiness can be affected by fear. And we can look at the significant other, where a person is saying, I thought that I made you happy, and I thought we were happy. No, as long as you are happy, You know, if a person is not making you happy, doesn't mean that you have to be sad with that person. Doesn't mean that you have to be miserable with that person. You continue to be happy. You know, and if that person is unhappy, or if that situation, whether it be employment, whether it be relationship, whether it be family, however, whatever the interaction is, you know, by not being fearful of saying what's on your mind, holds us back from being happy. So, you know, let's speak what's on our mind, and you know, not to let people or let situations hold us back from, you know, that happiness. Because remember, unhappy people don't like happy people, but happy people don't have to involve themselves with unhappy people. You know, because your happiness within yourself. Why put yourself in situations that are going to bring you down, and why go into situations where we are hoping, leaving things to chance, that this person or this job or this amount of wealth will make us happy, when we can be happy with nothing? Because happiness has nothing, again, to do with money, uh, employment, nor does it have to do with significant other. It has to do with you. So let's all find that happiness once more in ourselves. And we'll be back with part 4, which is success. Because success as well as happiness can be viewed in many different ways, and so can wealth. So, you know, let's get rid of that fear, do away with that fear. Everybody have an awesome day, have a beautiful day. Always a pleasure to come here and, you know, share information and different ways of looking at things that, you know, we face in our lives, you know, to live our best lives while not diminishing ourselves, while interacting with the outside world. So with that, everyone, have a beautiful day, have an awesome day.